Hey everyone, welcome to the show. I want to ask you a quick question. Let's imagine for a second that you know a successful SaaS owner who has been living their life, being successful in the world outside of WordPress, and they come to you and they say, "Hey, I want to start marketing to the WordPress community. What's weird or different about them?" What would you tell them? Do you even know what you would tell them? Sometimes I don't think we even understand how unique and different and special the WordPress community and the WordPress market is, because we've been in it for so long. But today we get to ask that question. So I'm Matt Cromwell, and this is WP Product Talk. I'm from Stellar WP.
And I'm Zack Katz with Gravity Kit and Trusted Login.
And today our topic is the unique challenges of marketing to the WordPress audience.
And that's why we've invited Rytis Lauris today. Rytis, thanks for joining us. Please introduce yourself and what you do.
Thanks for inviting. Really great to be a part of WordPress community and a guest at your show. So I'm Rytis Lauris, as you already, Zack, introduced me. I'm co-founder and CEO of Omnisend, which is a marketing automation platform mainly for those who sell online. So either physical goods or bookings or courses, etc. So we help to retain your customers and basically to communicate with your existing customer base via email, SMS, web push notifications. So marketing automation, we help you synchronize data with your website, with your online store, with your LMS tool, and based on that data, based on triggers we hear from your customers, from your visitors, from your buyers, automate marketing messages and basically invite customers to get back to you and purchase again and again and again, because usually the first purchase is a loss for you if you sell something online, because you pay for Google and Meta more than you earn. And it's very important to invite your customers to come back and them to purchase again in order to make a profitable business. So that's what we do.
Awesome.
Rytis, that sounds like something that every product owner would need.
Yes, I have no doubts. And once we started like email 10 years ago, email marketing, and we said, okay, we will take this specific niche, those who sell online, and we will create a unique experience for them, and we'll create more value than the generic email marketing tools, like, Constant Contacts or MailChimps of the world. Like people were a bit skeptic about that and said, come on, email. It's so old school. It's going to die soon. But, 10 years forward. And it's still the most effective retention communication channel.
Absolutely. Folks, if you are here watching live, we would love to answer your questions live on the show. Just use the comment area and we will highlight them and ask them as we go. So like we do every week, we want to kick off with talking about why this subject is so important. What's so important about understanding the unique challenges of the WordPress market in particular? We actually put me as first for this one. Shoot. I honestly, I I thought a bit about it, and I'm actually really excited, mostly to hear from Rytis, honestly. But as I've been thinking through all of our Stellar WP products, thinking about my journey with Give WP and the unique aspects of WordPress in particular, the thing that we've always focused on the most is this idea of the WordPresser that is a DIYer. And what I don't love about that is I feel like that has been evolving or changing in a lot of different ways. So much of how we always approached our products was thinking of the person who really likes to get their hands dirty, who likes to work on their website a lot, who likes to tweak and fiddle and change stuff. And that was how a lot of our products were built from day one. But the WordPress market itself has been changing quite a lot. And that idea of that ideal WordPresser, I think is different now. I've heard quite a few people say that that people don't care about fiddling anymore, that the way that Squarespace and Wix have influenced the market so much means that we need to just be delivering these products that just do things for people automatically, that just are great out of the box, that are designed gorgeously. Like back in the day, every product was just like a big long screen of settings. That's like what every single product was in WordPress. Settings, and then a whole bunch of actions and filters for the devs, um, but more and more it's become like you need to be able to handhold them. You want it to look amazing. It needs to be able to have lots of flexibility without being bloated. It's kind of like, I feel like we're being put into a impossible corner in many ways. And we need to fit all of that into the WordPress admin area somehow magically. But I think like figuring out exactly what it is that makes a WordPresser a WordPresser today, that question has gotten a lot more challenging overall. So like, why is it important? Well, because it's changing so much. I don't know that I have a really good answer about where things are landing in terms of the majority of the market, but I know that figuring out the audience and what makes them tick and what makes them buy has never been more relevant than it is now. That's my take personally. But Rytis, what about you? Why is this subject so important for you and Omnisend?
So there are multiple angles, but maybe just to follow up to what you just said. So and maybe just for context a little bit for the audience here. So Omnisend is already 10 years in the market. We are second largest email automation, marketing automation tool in the Shopify ecosystem. So we've been there for quite many years in Shopify, BigCommerce, Equid, Magento to some extent, but when Magento basically went out of the market, or went so up market to enterprise level, that to what you so we kind of have quite a lot of experience in those like walled garden ecosystem. So, and to what you touch here about this technical aspect, so that's what we feel, and that WordPress is still a bit more technical. And what do I have in mind? Just like very anecdotal, like evidence here, like the plugin for itself. Yeah. So in ecosystems, now we have, like you mentioned, Wix. We have Wix integration as well. So in other ecosystems, nobody cares about your plugin actually. This is just a very technical thing, integration part, which I don't want even to know about its existence. Yeah, in WordPress is different. There are developers who will look into it. They really care about the security stuff. They really care about the convenience. It has to be. I mean, yeah, we are SaaS products, so we are not open source by ourselves as a platform, but our connector is open source, and there are developers from the community who really are keen to learn what is in it. Is it safe? How does that work, etc. The quality of it, and they care about it. So that's where the unique thing starts. And just maybe following up to what you said, that the redefinition has to be done, but at the same time, definitely there are more geeky people in the world, and still, I mean, by the in a good terms,
Yes.
But we choose WordPress because just we want to touch. It's similar like Android to Apple, yeah. So open ecosystem to super close the way you can't do anything and just follow the rules. So that's probably kind of the initial starting point if you are on the other ecosystems and you would like to enter, or maybe you're new to WordPress. So from our experiences, that's where you start. Basically, you have to adapt your product to WordPress needs, because it barely is like that one size fits all. Each ecosystem, although we serve very similar kind of customers, but each ecosystem has its own requirements. There are some technical limitations or advantages as well, including WordPress. Yeah, so let's say one of the very much requested feature from our customers is like discounts, that we would automatically generate discounts. As we mainly serve those who sell online, so playing with discounts and sending some campaigns to boost your sales is one of the strategies our customers use a lot. So let's say with WordPress is a bit more difficult in comparison to other platforms to do that, but it's still being requested by our WordPress customers, and sometimes we just have not to blame WordPress, but at the same time to explain that those are limitations that we cannot maybe overcome by ourselves, and that's a feature which unfortunately we cannot deliver it to you, and you have some limits. But at the same time, there is more flexibility, as already mentioned, with a plugin, with connector, all the third-party apps as well. But we can continue on that a bit later.
Absolutely. Zack, what about you? Why is this such an important subject for you?
It was fascinating hearing Rytis say that the conceptualization of WordPress is completely different than something like Wix or Squarespace, where something either just works in Wix or Squarespace and it's just a feature and you enable it, or you have an integration and that just works and you don't need to worry about it. That was fascinating to me because we are so we are so technical in our consideration of how things work, and it's a custom post type. Who cares what a custom post type is?
Yeah.
So for me, the complexities of the WordPress space are one of the things that make it unique. I was talking with somebody from the Drupal space and at WordCamp US last year, and hearing what that entire environment and culture is like was fascinating. And I don't remember exactly what she was saying, but it was a very different environment. And the feel of WordPress, I think, is something that takes going to WordCamps to understand. It takes joining Post Status Slack, WordPress.org Slack, to understand what it's like to be part of the community. And that's not something you really get if you go to the WordPress subreddit. That's you kind of get a hint at it, but then you go to the WordPress.org plugin support forums and you start to understand more. You go to you read WordPress Twitter and you start to understand a different side of it. There's an entire culture of norms and expectations of a product owner inside a WordPress space that is very different from the commercial open seas that you might like. WordPress, Squarespace, and Wix, those are monetized platforms. WordPress is an open source platform that has a very deep culture and community that you can ignore at your peril if you're coming into the WordPress space.
Absolutely.
Completely agree, Zach, to what you said. So we started with this technical alignment or fulfillment of the needs, but definitely the community is what makes WordPress unique. That's for sure. And to be honest, I was really myself and the organization was blown up of how different it is. That the true community exists here. So, and I would say probably I just try to kind of find a distinction words to describe it. So there are ecosystems. And the WordPress is an ecosystem, but there is a community within this ecosystem, and the communities do not actually exist in other ecosystems. Those are still ecosystems. We have influencers, we have podcasts, we have developers, we have agencies, etc. But there is no this community feeling, understanding, or the sense of belonging is either non-existing or way at a way lower level, I would say. So that's definitely what makes WordPress unique. And personally, I love it. It's truly great, because this is where WordCamps. I've been to, as we are still kind of new here, so I've been to 3 WordCamps so far. So I did US, Asia, and Europe, sponsoring Asian and then European ones, and looking forward for the US in Portland one. So again, those events not even similar to anything else what I have experienced in the past. So
that's awesome.
They're truly unique.
Yeah. Rytis, I did want to do a follow-up and hear a little bit more specifically from you on why you all, Omnisend, decided to start to invest into the WordPress market, into the WordPress community. You've been really a lot more Shopify focused for this time. What was it that provoked this change? And the one follow-up I have on that also is, has it been worth it so far? I know it's only been a short time, but like, yeah. So,
Yeah, it has. Yeah, it's worth it. Yeah. So
okay.
the answer to the second part is easier.
Yeah.
So let me start there. So yeah, it's worth it. This is truly the fastest growing platform for us.
Mm,
Among all the platforms we serve, and kind of like to be honest, like one of the main reasons to make this decision to go into more actively or actively in general, because we had a kind of low quality connector for quite a while, but we
mm,
didn't even like maintain it, etc. But we start seeing that the growth on WordPress is still better than on other platforms that we do not invest. So there are primary platforms we invest heavily and we see results, and there are other platforms that we don't invest much or nothing. And then WordPress really stood out. And we kind of tracked it, okay, for quite few months, even like more than a year. So something just happened that to be honest, we were kind of maybe saw WordPress at some point as like yesterday technology. I would not deny this, and maybe that's why like 5 years ago or so we did not make this decision to actively come into the ecosystem. But it kind of proved to at least keep its position, not to lose its position. And doesn't matter that despite the fact that there is a tough competition in the market, and there are strong competitors, well-funded competitors, but WordPress still thrives. And yeah, so that was kind of like, from a little bit of skepticism to kind of maybe denying for ourselves the skepticism, and then seeing that actually this is organically growing market for us. So why should not we invest into this ecosystem more to see if we can really accelerate this organic growth, which was already quite good.
yeah. I will say that I have a little thing I do on my personal blog that I call shiny new plugins, and I'm going to see if I can share my screen super quick, just because it's fun. Yeah. Um, so it's shiny new plugins, and I cover new plugins that are on the WordPress.org repository, and if they're interesting or whatnot. And this was the very first one I did to re-kick off this blog idea, and I covered Omnisend because I noticed
Perfect.
that there was a brand new free plugin connector for Omnisend, and I was like, oh, you all should be watching this. It's a multi-million-dollar company. They just released a WordPress plugin, and then much later, I noticed I did a follow up to that and showed that that you had already grown to 30,000 active installs in about like a month, I think it was. And I just double checked, and you're up to 100,000 plus active installs for that connector plugin already, which I think is amazing. And because I really want to highlight what you said a minute ago when I said, is it worth it? You said, absolutely, it's worth it. It's the biggest growing segment that we have. And so WordPress, going from like no integration with WordPress to just throwing that integration on the free.org repository, you're already seeing significant growth there. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. So thanks for featuring us early on. So and then following. Yeah. So yeah. So you really spotted those numbers really right,
That's
and
awesome. That's
just
awesome.
And
can agree.
how are the customers different between Shopify and WordPress?
Uh, Maybe kind of like the main difference, I would say they're not like too different in general. There is not that you would say, okay, this is like completely different universe. No.
Yeah.
What is a bit different? So the variety is a bit bigger in WordPress. So we have like WooCommerce, like who sell mainly physical goods, which is the most similar to a Shopify ecosystem. On top of that, we have like learning management systems. We have booking plugins. That all of those kinds are still maybe you would not call those e-commerce, but they are online businesses. They have online transactions because. And this is kind of probably one of the things that has changed in the recent like 5 years, that once Omnisend started, we actually e-commerce was just mainly selling physical goods, but like like more and more business actually, and COVID accelerated that a lot, is actually going online. And let's take an example of booking an appointment to your doctor. If it's your doctor that you go every time, so still you go online, you open the website of your doctor, you book it, you quite often even pay for service. So basically, if you're in search of something new, so you start exploration online. So you Google, you maybe go to Reddit, whatever, some recommendation sites you find in some forum, in Facebook groups, some recommendations. You go online, you explore, you make a decision. You need a social proof, you read reviews, you make a decision, you pay for the service. It could be like, I don't know, barber, it could be a doctor, etc. And just instead of you being delivered with a parcel, you go to the doctor, but that's the only difference. And all the post-purchase and post-delivery communication is back online, and post-delivery experience is back online. So what we see kind of Shopify, let's say, or e-commerce platforms, they are mainly focused on those selling physical goods. And like WordPress, maybe just because of its open source origin, etc., the variety of customers, those who do different kinds of online businesses, is bigger. So it's an opportunity as well as a bit of a challenge, because of the use cases are a bit more different, and then the variety of is broader. So of course our customers expect us to cover a broader variety of use cases, and to work as properly, equally good with physical goods to tickets to bookings to courses, etc.
Nice.
So that's probably the main difference.
Next, we want to talk a little bit about all of our personal experiences with the unique challenges of the WordPress space. Zack, I'd love to hear on your own experiences. What in your vast experience with WordPress products have you had that's like unique about WordPress?
Well, I started in WordPress as mostly an SEO exercise, because I was looking at really strong domains, and WordPress.org was a very strong domain, and the README files for plugins at the time were dofollow. And I said, that's a PR9 website that is going to be able to link back to my clients. I was doing websites at the time. So I realized, okay, I have these clients running WordPress. They could have a plugin on .org and have a plugin README that links back to their website with very optimized text, and provide value to the community, yes, but also provide a lot of SEO juice back to my clients. I really optimized those README files, and Mika said, hey, knock it off, you're a spammer.
And she wasn't wrong.
And she wasn't wrong. And I have since watched the plugin guidelines grow much longer. I think that I might have inspired a couple of them.
Yeah, the Zack Katz rule.
So I did a bunch of bad stuff until I slowly learned what it meant to be part of the WordPress community. And I think the transition there was going to my first WordCamp Denver 2009, saw Matt Mullenweg talk State of the Word. It was great. And I realized, I'm spamming the community that I actually do care about. This is not just a business enterprise. This is a community, and I want to be part of it. And that shift happened, and I went from capitalist 1.0 to like open source contributor 2.0.
Awesome.
It's like very good angle to Zack what you mentioned, because I would imagine, or okay, I would guess that you would call yourself growth hacker, but the community treated you as a spammer. So
yes, with one weird trick will get you banned from the WordPress directory.
So that's kind of like us, coming into the new ecosystem. So of course we start asking people, those who are for many years we have experience, etc. So okay, so how actually to navigate it? Yeah, so we need help because in general we understood that could be different. Yeah. And then we start checking, talking to people, and then we realized it is different to other ecosystems. And it's kind of like one of the things that, what we were worried about, don't be too aggressive.
Yeah.
And like multiple examples, then the companies that come to the ecosystem, if they are too aggressive, they are being like rejected by WordPress ecosystem. And so that's kind of like what we as a we are still for profit company, as you are. And then that's where to really load balance, where you still like market yourself, and then where it's like still good, where is maybe just where's growth hack, where is it spam. So
Yeah.
just to define, or maybe just like we were giving examples that we come with a too big budget and maybe start kind of overloading everyone and being like super aggressive, want to put your swag everywhere and to be too visible, which again is not being well accepted by the community. So
Yeah.
that's kind of another lesson that we learned. And truly, like coming to the WordCamp with such a t-shirt is still good or not. So
Yeah.
we tried, seemed like people accept it well,
Yeah.
that it's not too aggressive, and it's okay. But that's one thing that you definitely have to learn, especially if you're coming from other backgrounds. So just really resonated to me to what Zack, you told about your first experience.
And how did you decide to sponsor WordCamp? Was like with that in mind, about not being too aggressive and not being too commercial?
Yeah.
So again, we kind of like first time we went with a team already, with a smaller team. We went to WordCamp US. We've heard that all those WordCamps are really like flagships. Free flagships are different one to another, but in general, we kind of like understood that they might be different, but the community is actually gathering there. And there are people who travel overseas. There are people who just go to those like national, like regional WordCamps, the flagships, etc. So if you want to present yourself in front of eyes of the community, so you have to sponsor. I think that it's just inevitable. So
yeah. WordPress folks love t-shirts, so bring good t-shirts, and people will be at your booth for sure. So
we've got some good the best swag. I will give you a tip. So our just bags. There again, the same quite like bright green color. It's written "good things" inside. Very small logo of Omnisend. There is logo of Omnisend, but small again. So it's not doesn't look too promotional. But like good things inside, and it's a positive emotion, and people love wearing those. And
it's true, actually. I think I came home from WordCamp Europe with like 4 new bags, actually. But they are good, and it's like always have a bag for going grocery shopping now. So.
And is the swag scene different in Shopify? Are there actually conferences for Shopify? Like, what's the surrounding? No, there's nothing like that.
They used to be. There is one like for. They try to make it like developers only, which there are still agencies that coming, etc. But then it's kind of like all the talks are just developers focused. So there are still someone who tries to make some business in it, etc. But then it's a bit weird, etc. It used to be Shopify Unite prior to COVID, and it was like big and very similar to what WordCamps are. Like it was like all developers, solutions agencies, even customers. Merchants in this case, those who sell online. But they kind of they tried to move it online. I would say it was a failure, and then since then there are no conferences at all. So
interesting.
And in other ecosystems we operate, we don't see anything similar to what WordCamps are.
Interesting, because WordCamps are also just so vibrant. There's so much life there. There's so much enthusiasm and excitement. Like I know personally, I know people in the WordPress space that I've known basically only because of WordCamps. But I've known them for like 10 years now. They're not just casual acquaintances. They're people that are like, I'm looking forward to hearing about what's going on in their life. It's not just a hobby or just a passerby thing. It's like a significant event for a lot of people.
Agree. So even kind of myself, like on a from personal standpoint, I already have people which I really looking forward to meeting again, like in Portland. So
Yeah.
So because we met like already for 2 or 3 times in the WordCamps, and so it's quite. There are some friends that I meet like
Yeah.
twice per year, once per year. So if we meet like 3 times per year, it's already quite often.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, I'll say for my story time that the biggest thing that I've noticed over the years that makes WordPress different is just the way in which our products are distributed into highly unpredictable environments. Like anytime I talk with anyone who does digital products that are SaaS based for the most part, um, they will talk about it in a certain way that makes it really really clear that they don't have any of the problems that I have. um, that they're like, well, we control the environment. I do not control the environment that my product is in any way. And we have to develop defensively all the time. We have to code in a way that's always anticipating problems that we can prevent and that we can avoid in different ways. I can remember the day that we decided with GiveWP. GiveWP is a donation platform. And our forms are the most important aspect of what we do. And with themes and other plugins and even email plugins, they all do things to the donation experience that are sometimes unpredictable. And the biggest one we had a lot of hard time with was themes. Themes would force all kinds of interesting, challenging, difficult styles onto labels or onto fields or onto select boxes or any of the things that we depended on to make payments with. And we made a decision that we were going to change the entire approach that we did our forms, and we're going to start embedding our forms on websites in an iframe. And to me, that was like anathema to good web development. I was like, you cannot put something in an iframe. Luckily, our development team was a lot smarter than I was. And they really found a great way to have our cake and eat it too, so that it is in an iframe. It's protected against all kinds of crazy styles, but also empowering our users to be able to customize it in amazing ways. But just having to have that conversation, having to be like, how can we ship this product in a way that we have a lot of confidence that it's not going to break? Like that alone is a very unique aspect of WordPress. Then, of course, supporting products like that, having to basically like the trajectory of technical support in WordPress was for a long time, how do we draw really thick boundaries on what we do and don't support? It was like, this is my responsibility. I can't take responsibility for everything else that's going on out there all the time. And if you come in and you say, yeah, your product doesn't work because of X, Y, and Z, I might say, well, X, Y, and Z is your problem, so go talk to them. And that's just a terrible customer experience. And so lately, tides have changed. A lot of folks are starting to just say, we're just helping with WordPress folks no matter what. Like if you come in, you can't have success with my product. I don't care if it's a theme problem. I don't care if it's a caching plugin. I'm just going to help you because I need you to have success with my product. But that means you have to have highly technical people on your team who really know what they're doing, because they're not just supporting your product. They're supporting all the millions of permutations of what WordPress can be for people. That Wild West environment is, like, I think, one of the most unique things about developing, building, having a business in WordPress, that so many other folks just don't understand at all.
Yeah, the technical responsibilities of a developer on WordPress are exponentially larger than in other ecosystems. And I had an app on Shopify years ago called Contactified, which I was trying to connect Shopify marketing lists with Constant Contact. And it was great. I loved the experience of building on such a contained platform where there weren't even hooks for me to make changes to templates. It was so locked down, and yet there was an app store where people could install and activate and pay me. effortlessly. It was really refreshing to have that added, like that focus to the product. But when you get into WordPress, there are coding standards that you need to learn to handle the lack of and the addition of so many different plugins that can modify things in unexpected ways. Nothing is type safe. Nothing is, you can't assume security in any part of the plugin. How did you have to change your support and your development team, Rytis, for to accommodate those changing environments?
So support team, we did not change much. So basically, it's just like dedicated some people who are more into WordPress, and probably kind of like a little bit of disclaimer. So our own website, omnisend.com, was always run on WordPress. So although we were
All
not
right,
kind of, but just yeah,
you're
because this
safe.
is just the best website builder, and as Omnisend focused on mainly on those who sell online, but we still need our own website. So and prior to Omnisend, actually my first experience with WordPress, but it didn't drag me that deep into the ecosystem or community, was that I used to run digital marketing agency. So that's where the Omnisend is spin-off from digital marketing agency. So we were creating websites for our customers, one of the services we provided, and we were creating on WordPress. So no, so that's kind of my first relationship with WordPress, happened like what, 12 13 years ago. But yeah, just due to those reasons that we focused on the customers who sell online, we drifted away a little bit. Yeah, so regarding like getting back to your question, so yeah, we had already developers who know WordPress and who love WordPress, and then we just, okay, so who would like to focus a little bit more on maintaining WordPress integration, WordPress plugin, keeping the standards, etc. So yeah, you're right. So the documentation is you have to be keen on like more aspects in comparison to other platforms. So basically just, yeah, dedicated some people from existing team, mainly who had experience and who like WordPress, and then just we refocus them.
Yeah.
In regards of support, probably kind of, I was listening to you, and probably that's another thing that we have to identify, and the learning, which, to be honest, maybe never kind of pointed that loud, but I would say there are two words of WordPress in general. So there is a community, which is big, but even bigger pool of customers are those who actually don't care much about WordPress as well. You just go to their hosting providers, they take the hosted WordPress solution, and they do not develop. Yeah, so there are those like truly like technical people, etc., who hands-on develop, or they hire agencies to develop on behalf of them, etc. But nowadays it's so easy to go to any hosting, I mean, maybe not any hosting, but a lot of hosting providers that have out-of-the-box solutions. And basically WordPress is more the content management system that is running in your background, and you don't even care too much because you choose, let's say, Hostinger or like Bluehost, etc., as a primary source. That's where we land. That's where we start your online journey, and they just offer WordPress as a backend. So
Yeah.
this is a big group of WordPress users as well that are not technical, but don't care about WordPress that much, and they do not belong to
Yeah.
this community, although they're still on WordPress.
It's actually like a good, I would call it a chicken and the egg kind of problem, in the sense of like, do WordPress users start their discovery by finding a web host, or do they discover WordPress and then go looking for a web host? That relationship, I think, is really complicated also, because I think if they were like just swarming to just adopt WordPress, then we would see all that adoption on WordPress.com most obviously, because it's like that is the place where you can just be like, well, this is obviously WordPress, and they're going to let me spin up a WordPress website right here. But the fact that so many hosts take WordPress so incredibly seriously and put WordPress as front of the offerings that they are providing suggests that folks are looking at for web hosting in the first place, and landing on WordPress second. I think it's a really unique question also. And I've had a lot of different conversations with folks about how significant hosting is for discovery or not. I tend to be more of like, I think WordPress drives discovery a lot stronger than hosts do, but it's just kind of my feeling.
I had
Zack,
the experience. The reason I got into WordPress at all was the reason I think a lot of people started getting into WordPress. It was on cPanel. And for those people who know what cPanel is, hosts used to provide, good hosts, in my opinion, had a thing called cPanel where it allowed one-click installation of a bunch of different software. And WordPress, Joomla, eventually Drupal, but like all these like forum softwares, there were all these one-click installations where you sign up for a host and then you can kind of test out different ways to get a website. And I installed WordPress, and it was the clear winner for me. That's how I found WordPress, is through the host, through cPanel. I don't know if that path is the same today, but it's interesting to your point, Matt, like what drives it. In my case, it was the availability of one-click install through a host.
Yeah.
And maybe Matt, to kind of like, I would say kind of third angle, which again, this is not kind of a hard statement and have like to data to back it, but like what kind of have another feeling that people actually start more and more looking just to how to go online, how to create my website online. And they just don't, like ordinary like marketer or small business owner, they do not have a clear distinction what the WordPress is, what hosting is. I just need a solution to go online. And then I basically Google, and whatever I found first or second or third, or maybe what kind of review did I find. So if someone recommended me to go WordPress, or someone recommended me to choose the specific hosting provider, and or Wix, as a better alternative.
I was just talking with somebody that recently was asking ChatGPT. They have a certain different like a certain spec that they need to have done. It recommended Django, and I was like, okay, that's an interesting solution. But like,
what is
Django? In addition to like search engines and hosts, you also now have LLMs recommending solutions.
Okay.
That are making recommendations. Exactly. Yeah.
So Rytis, maybe you should get into Django next.
We do have a good, interesting comment here in the comment section from Peter Ingersoll. He says, a big issue with talks about marketing WordPress is the lack of hard data. That's another unique one. You know, when you're a SaaS, you own the platform, you own all the data. It's like, even if you don't have it handy, you have all the data. You just have to go scrape it correctly and things like that. But most of what Peter continues saying is most of the popular stats are inferred, or the margins of error aren't clear. Lots of assumptions are made and important things are missed. He actually goes on into another comment and says, even defining someone as a WP user is problematic. What kind of user? How do you make decisions without knowing numbers other than your own? Or is it just about volume? I mean, it's really true in terms of like, who is the WP user? There are lots of folks who use WordPress who don't even know that it is WordPress. You know, the church secretary logs in and does the work that they need to do on the website, not even caring about whether it could build a page or a post or not. Or somebody who's a volunteer for an organization just has to log in and get something done. They are technically a WordPress user, but they're not necessarily somebody who makes a decision about things. But the folks who are running businesses, I think they tend to be the ones that we think of the most. Running some sort of business in one way or another, and you need to enhance your WordPress website. But I think the way in which plugin data in particular. I don't know if that's exactly what Peter is speaking to, but the way in which plugin data is obfuscated, we don't know with certainty exactly how people discover our plugins on WordPress.org, which terms are being used to search WordPress.org at all, which kind of terms have the most volume. These are the types of like bread and butter types of data that podcasts have all the time for like Spotify and things like that. Or, of course, Apple Marketplace has things like that as well. The Android store, the Google Play Store, all of the people who build digital products on all these other platforms have this data all the time, and it's very instructive for them. We've got almost nothing on that front. Very, very little. And it is difficult.
Agree. But like you mentioned examples of like Apple or Android, etc., Google Play, and those are really great examples. But I would not say that in other ecosystems, at least again, those e-commerce or like Wix or Shopify, they do not provide so much more data in comparison to what WordPress do, and a bit more, but I would not say that the gap is like really massive, and each of those platforms are really truly well behind Apple or Google or Spotify.
Well, that's good to hear, because that's not the dialogue inside the community about the data sharing. It's we think we're in the dark compared to other platforms, so that's interesting.
Yeah,
and of course we may be kind of an again, like Omnisend, maybe we're in a better position because we are SaaS ourselves. So at least at some point we are able to track almost everything about our customers' behavior, and we look at those numbers that are being. So probably what is the missing from like as a marketing standpoint? So this ability to really track what are the search terms, especially in WordPress.org, is like crucially important to understand how do people search. So in our case, for example, what we do, so basically we kind of make an assumption that what works in other ecosystems highly likely works the most in WordPress as well, in terms of search terms. And they are very similar to what works in Google. So if you do at least a little bit of SEO or paid ads, etc., and you are aware of what kind of keywords do work for you on Google, so that would be my piece of advice, and that's at least our lesson, that you can proxy that, and you can make assumptions that very similar on WordPress. Second, sorry.
Oh, please.
Maybe the second just is a little piece of advice. So the numbers that are being revealed or published on WordPress.org, again, those are kind of like helps for comparison purposes. So you always run in some competition, and truly you do not care that much if Give WP has higher install numbers in comparison to Omnisend, because we compete in, let's say, email marketing keywords.
Yeah.
And where our position in like general like plugins market, we don't care too much, because again, we assume, because email marketing keyword is the main keyword for us on Google, on Shopify, on Wix, we assume that it is the same on WordPress. So that's what we're trying to optimize the most. And we still have those numbers help us to compare ourselves with a competition within that field.
For sure.
That's Zack, great advice. And that's great advice for marketing. I'd love to hear your best advice for product owners who are looking into entering the WordPress space overall. Like, what's your one great piece of advice?
So probably if you are operating in other ecosystems, so that's the main thing. Like, have this community angle in mind, and probably the main advice would be ask people. So what comes with community? You have so many people whom you can ask and who are really, really willing to help you. So a lot of things that I share now, some of those we learned, but a lot of things were just given as advice, free of charge, by the community members. So that is really, in general, community is really, really welcoming and really willing to help you. So probably that would be my initial advice. If you are just absolutely new for the business, and maybe just considering to build your plugin, to build your SaaS product, or whatever. So that's a general advice which I give for anyone who is maybe considering to start your business. Just do it. The best
Love it.
time to start
That's good
your
advice.
own product is it's now.
Yep. Love it.
How about you, Matt?
When it comes to the unique challenges of the WordPress ecosystem, I think in many ways, my best advice is to keep it simple, because I've seen so many new product folks. I think I'm thinking specifically of product in the WordPress admin. I've seen so many new products come out and just be like giant, big, and flashy, and things that are very salesy and work in other places. They'll try to use some of those sales tactics. It's open source, it's WordPress, you can hook into just about everything, and people will be like, oh, I could take over this whole screen. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. And in general, the WordPress user, the typical WordPress user, feels like the WordPress admin is theirs. It belongs to them. And if you start putting your stuff in front of their face on something that is theirs, they get kind of offended and bothered. So kind of look around for best practices when it comes to how to build your product in the WordPress environment. Keep it simple, clean, focus, stay within your domain. Don't jump into like all of the edit screens. Don't start putting your JavaScript in every single page. Definitely don't do any call to home, because that'll be problematic with .org, things like that. Keep it simple, clean, best practice.
And mine would be to read the plugin guidelines if you're making a plugin.
Don't be spammy. Don't
be spammy. Yeah.
Don't be early Zack days. Don't do that.
And read the community code of conduct. That will give you a sense for what is expected of a community member. They're pretty simple, like don't be a jerk. I don't think that's literally a line from the code of conduct, but it might as well be.
Yeah, pretty good summary.
Yeah, don't be a jerk. Read the support forum guidelines if you're going to be providing support. Like, there's a lot of gotchas that you wouldn't expect. Like, it's pretty hard to actually provide support for a paid product that has a free version. So learn what the nuances are there, and watch WordCamp.tv talks. Like, if you type in WordCamp.tv, it'll take you to WordPress.tv. You'll get a sense for the vibe a lot easier than reading an article. So maybe even start with watching WordCamp talks, and you'll get a sense for WordPress pretty well, I think.
That's awesome. Great stuff. Well, that is a wrap. That is all we got for this week. Rytis, thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate it. Did you enjoy the talk?
Absolutely. Thanks for inviting. And maybe just a closing remark. So as I stated, listen to the advice. So you just got a lot of great advice from two people who are very,
oh my gosh, Rytis, I love that.
friends in this community. So
yeah, there's lots of free
content
content out there. People are giving advice all the time lately. It's been great.
And Rytis, where can people find you online?
So omnisend.com, the product, and myself, I prefer using LinkedIn. So Rytis Lauris on LinkedIn.
We have Rytis's LinkedIn link on our website, on his bio page, by the way. So feel free to go to wpproducttalk.com and find this episode there, and you'll find Rytis there as well. And next week, we are actually just got this confirmed a little bit ago. Alex Standiford is going to come on and talk about growing your affiliate program. So I'm excited for that one. We haven't talked about affiliate programs all that much on the show, and I think that's an important one. So looking forward to having Alex next week.
It is. And special thanks to Post Status for being our green room. If you're enjoying WP Product Talk, do us a favor, hit like, subscribe, share it with your friends, reference this show in your newsletters or your blog or your own podcast.